Hello and welcome to Redmen TV. We're live, so I just want to tell you all something. I was here first. You might have been the first to comment, but I was here first. So we're going to talk Thomas Lemar first and foremost. Let's get straight stuck into that. Liverpool Echo are reporting that we haven't got an agreement with Thomas Lemar. I hate to be the bearer of bad news on this one. I've picked up the report actually on Sports Illustrated. Liverpool rules out Thomas Lemar transfer over high fee. This is nothing new really, to be honest with you. I think we've known this for a little while now. Liverpool, I believe at the start of this window, went to Monaco and said, listen, we know you had a certain stance at the end of the last transfer window. You knew what our position was. Has that changed at all? Apparently Monaco turned around to Liverpool and said, no, the price is 100 million euros, which is 90 million quid, something along those lines. And Liverpool have gone, okay, well, we're interested. If you have any movement on that, then we're here waiting, essentially. Arsenal obviously did have a bid accepted in the summer, so I think Monaco are in a position whereby they think, you know what, we can get that money for Thomas Lemar. We don't need to lower our price because we still want the player. We can still utilise him this season and stuff. So yeah, no movement on the Thomas Lemar stuff. I think it's clearly a player that Jurgen Klopp wants at Liverpool, but doesn't deem a 22-year-old with, you know, good experience but limited experience at the same time worth 90 million quid. And I think one of the problems at the moment is that football clubs around the country, around the world, don't really know what the value of a player is. You know, that Lemar deal, the Phil Coutinho deal, the Mbappe deal have really changed that. What are you getting for 90 million quid? Because it's certainly not the finished article. And I think for 90 million quid, you could expect someone who has 5, 6, 7 years experience playing at the top level, playing in the Champions League. Do we think that Liverpool are going to be looking at 90 million quid for someone like Thomas Lemar right now? Probably not. If the price comes down, maybe, but I'm not sure. So here we go, it's right here. According to the Liverpool Echo, the club have dismissed reports that they've agreed personal terms with Lemar, and in Klopp's eyes, Monaco's £90 million valuation is excessive. It kind of just perfectly summarises in 2 and a bit lines what I've taken 3 minutes to tell you. So I'll also go back over to the Echo now, where the truth about Thomas Lemar being dropped by Monaco as Liverpool speculation persists. Anyone who was online last night will know that Twitter went mental because Thomas Lemar wasn't in the Monaco squad. It turns out that Thomas Lemar has been in the top minutes played for, you know, top 10 minutes played for Monaco this season. It wasn't just Thomas Lemar rested. 5 of the players who were in the top 10 of minutes played were rested last night. So it looks like it was just a rotation thing. That's what Christian Walsh says at the Liverpool Echo anyway. So we're going to go over, this is actually, again, Liverpool Echo, Sam Carroll this time. Italian transfer jinxsters, not a word, just sounds great. Calcio Mercato are reporting that Juventus have sent a contract proposal to Emre Can's lawyers, which will be signed in a short time. They also claim Can has shaken hands on a deal. As you see, the title of this one is Italian Rumours. This will be gutting, won't it? I think, you know, we've spoken a lot, haven't we, about Emre Can over the last few weeks and stuff, and certainly a player that I want to see Liverpool tied down for the peak years of his career, really. You know, we've spent 10 million quid buying him from Leverkusen a few years ago. He's never really been part of the spine of the team, I would say. You know, he's featured heavily back end of that Europa League run season. He was a major force. Last season, there was a period of the season where he was a major force. This season, funnily enough, since all the rumours started, Jordan Henderson's been injured, and he's certainly been part of that spine. I think Emre Can's probably looking at this now, wondering to himself whether he will become a key player at Liverpool. Now, the last 2 months might have helped that, but you know what? Juventus is still interested. Juventus are a big name in football. They've been to 2 Champions League finals in the last 4 or 5 years, something like that. So I can see why he'd be interested. I'll be gutted if he goes. Of course, we're going to do we are going to do comments at the end of the video, but right now we're going to go over to the Daily Mirror this time, actually, and this one is on Gremio forward Luan, who's spoken out over claims he could sign for Liverpool in the January transfer window. The player has confirmed that as things stand, the Mirror reporting, Liverpool have not made an approach for his services. There's a couple of quotes here as well. If I knew, I wouldn't hide. I always said that I would leave it to Gremio and to my agent, And if they have something concrete, they should talk to me. No one has come to me, so there is nothing. It has to be good for me. It has to be good for Gremio. I will not rush to want to leave soon, just like in the middle of last year. So fair play to Loan for speaking out about that. It clearly looks like Liverpool haven't made a bid for his services as of yet. We shall see, I suppose. Sturridge next, quite busy. You know why? Because we've not done a news show for a few days, so apologies for that one. We've been mental, absolutely mental after the Swansea game and stuff. Liverpool have accepted a loan bid for Sturridge from Inter Milan. However, the Daily Star report that the striker is holding out for a move to Sevilla. Reds apparently ready to sell him in the transfer window, with the injury-prone player not featuring much in the first team. This is another mad one, isn't it? Because I think if you look at this transfer window as we bring Virgil van Dijk in for the first team anyway, and you sell Phil Coutinho and you sell Daniel Sturridge, or you lose Daniel Sturridge, be that loan, be that a transfer. Certainly feels like we're light. You know, I don't want to be going into the crunch part of this season with Roberto Firmino, Dom Solanke and Danny Ings, and that's no disrespect to Dom Solanke and Danny Ings. I just think we're going to need more than that. You know, we've got... What if Firmino picks up an injury? We're absolutely buggered, aren't we? You know, we've got no forward who scored a goal for Liverpool this season. And that's terrible if that happens. So I will be gutted if Daniel Sturridge goes, because I still think he can offer something, certainly this season, maybe not next, but certainly this season, something that we haven't got at the moment. That's goals off the bench. And finally, Alberto Moreno has revealed that he probably won't be playing against West Brom at the weekend, which is another little mad one there. So looks unlikely to feature for Liverpool this weekend as we face West Bromwich Albion on Saturday. He knows, obviously, that excuse me, autoplay videos, pain in the bum, aren't they? He's made 20 appearances so far. Let's see, there's a nice quote here. I honestly don't know. It'll be the manager who decides exactly when I come back. But what I do know, what I do want to make sure of, is that I'm 100% fully fit when I do make my comeback. You don't want to live up to what you can do when you're fully fit. So it's a case of getting the match fitness at 100% so as not to let people down. Listen, we're in a good situation at the moment. Robertson's in great form, isn't he? So it's not one that we don't need to rush him back, certainly. Robertson's done really well in that position, especially against, you know, Everton and Manchester City. And finally, just a little bit about Tony Gallagher, who will be coming into Liverpool. He's 18 years old, he's 5'8", he's a Glaswegian, transfer fee of 200,000. He's a left-back, of course, another Scottish left-back. The other one's working out well, so why not go and sign another one? Gallagher spent a week on trial with Liverpool a little time ago. Earlier this month, and obviously did enough to impress. So a guy that could come in, be going straight into the under-23s, I believe. We'll hopefully speak to Neil Critchley on Tony Gallagher when he is available to talk about it. I'm going to get into some of the comments anyway. So, Si, have you got anything to get me going, mate?
Yeah, so we've got an interesting one early on from Adriano O'Donnell, as he says. I mean, we're not going to say personal terms of being accepted. Wouldn't that be another tapping up case?
Yeah, of course, you're right. You can be allowed to speak to players without getting an agreement with the club. I think there are ways around that. You know, you don't have to agree a fee to speak to a player. You know, that's not part of the rules. But I think the way that this has worked, there are other ways that you can do it. You know, I think gone are the days when football clubs would put a bid in, get it accepted, then you speak to the player, oh, he doesn't want to come to us. I think there is a little workaround with the agents and stuff, and I think it's a grey area, certainly. But apparently he'd agreed terms with us in the summer, so I'd imagine that would hold true anyway. Sahina Begum says Liverpool need Thomas Lemar. We definitely need someone, don't we, in those attacking positions, I think.
I've got one here. Hero of the People says, to be honest, I don't think Lemar is worth 90 million, but I certainly won't complain if we do sign him, but he hasn't really made enough of a name for himself for me to get really excited for him.
I would tend to agree with that, you know. 95%. I think he has been exceptional, you know, especially when Monaco hit that, was it, semi-finals of the Champions League. You know, he was unbelievable, but I totally agree with what you're saying. You know, £90 million for a kid who's 22 years old doesn't seem... It's a big risk, isn't it? To be perfectly honest, it is a big risk. But again, I'm much like you. If Liverpool were to sign him, I'd be like, yep, made up, thank you very much. That's absolutely brilliant. It's worrying, isn't it? But it doesn't look like at the moment there are going to be players coming in. Hopefully that does change. Spoke to Jonathan Northcroft, actually, earlier on this morning, had a really good sort of 30-minute podcast with him. He's obviously a reporter for The Times, does a lot around the Northwest, knows a lot of people, got a lot of contacts, got some interesting stuff on Lemar, on Chan, and a few other bits and pieces, Liverpool's mystery player. So if you're interested, he knows who the mystery player is. If you're interested in that, do check out the redmentv.com, get your subscription there. Okay, we'll go for another comment. If Dortmund are willing to sell Aubameyang for around 50 million, should we be in for him, says Chris Matthews. It seems mental that we're not. It really does. I would, you know, obviously love someone like an Aubameyang. I've been talking about Aubameyang for a long time now. It seems mental. It seems like a price that, you know, seems about right. It seems a good price for a player of his quality. Klopp obviously knows him now, and I wonder whether that's put him off. So Northwest Rambler's been in touch, Northwest Rambler 89. You can ask permission from the club to speak to the player, all the while trying to agree a fee. What's the point in agreeing a fee first if the player isn't interested? Exactamundo. That's spot on.
We've got one here. So Philby Kid says, it's very frustrating that we aren't supposedly interested in any player, especially to replace the loss in attack. We could really use someone to break up defences as it was missing Monday night.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, it depends how you read Klopp's quote, doesn't it, from pre-Swansea. Make sure you're not on the screen for this one. I'm just going to go and find it, say. Yep. So, I've got the quote somewhere here, I think. And it's along the lines of, if something jumps in my face, then maybe we will think about it, but we aren't actively looking for a new player we don't know so far, Klopp said. That just, to me, says we're not actively looking for new people. You know, we could make bids for somebody who we've been scouting for 18 months. He says there, we aren't actively looking for a new player we don't know so far. So that to me, if you read it one way, it's we're not actively looking for any players, get that. But if you read it another way, it means we've got a scouting list and we're not searching outside of that. Now, that doesn't mean to me that, that doesn't say that we're going to go and make a bid. But if a situation changes, you know, for example, Monaco know we're interested in Thomas Lemar. If for some reason, I'm just using this as an example, Monaco come back in and go, actually, you know what, 80, then Liverpool might make a move, is what I'm trying to say. But maybe I'm clutching.
There's a few people asking about, there's apparent links to Salomon Rondon from West Brom.
Really?
I've just given it a little Google, and people are reporting that Liverpool and Everton are locked in a surprise transfer battle for West Brom star.
Rondon.
Guess which website is the main one that's reporting?
METRO.
Correct.
My word. Yeah, I don't want that. Listen, that's not to say that he's a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he'd suit Liverpool at all. For a start, we play with inverted wingers, where the cross is coming from.
Actually, even worse, which newspaper do you think the Metro is quoting for these links?
I'm not going to say the name, but you know the one.
Yep.
The rag.
Yep. Ignore them links then.
Yeah, just ignore them. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm fuming about this Rondon. Oh my word. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not having it. Okay, well there's the Daily News Show. I'll be back in about 15 minutes with the Starting 11 prediction show. It's going to be an interesting one actually. I think there's going to be a little bit of rotation. So do stick around. Let's say we'll go 4:45 back here. Don't stay in the chat because you won't get the video when it refreshes. Obviously stay around and have a chat if you want. I'll be in there for a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Redmen TV on YouTube. Click that little notification bell as well. Please do subscribe to the Redmen TV on YouTube. It's boss if you're a Liverpool fan. So I've been told. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Redmen TV.